What's up, G's? It's G-Boy. I'm back with another video, and today I'm gonna be doing something a little bit different. I'm gonna be playing something I like to call MK1 roster bingo. I have a list of stuff I put on a bingo board related to Mortal Kombat 1 and what possibly might be on the roster. Some of these are some personal things that I would like to see. Some of them are just sort of random, and some of them are stuff that will likely be in there. Starting off, we obviously have to have the free space right in the middle. That's just a go-to. Next, we have 26 plus fighters. Usually the average for Mortal Kombat roster numbers is around 26. So I'm hoping that there's more than 26 for this particular roster. Next up, all male ninjas. Imagine if the game had every male ninja on the roster. Obviously, it's gonna have Scorpion and Sub-Zero, but I'm interested to see if we get other ninjas like Smoke, Noob, Tremor, Ermac, Reptile, Rain. I don't know if I'm missing any. And bonus points if they put Takeda or Aaron Black on the roster. I know that they're not technically ninjas, or at least Aaron Black isn't, but they both wear masks, so why not? I really don't see them putting Chrome in the game. Chrome's not a real character, he's a fan-made character. And if you know the story behind Chrome, for one, it's not a very good story. And considering that, he'll probably never be in a Mortal Kombat game ever. Who knows, maybe we'll even get a pink ninja, a pink male ninja specifically. But yeah, next up on the roster bingo, we got a rectangle shape roster. Now in MK9 and MKX, they both had rectangle shaped rosters, and for some reason MK11 didn't. I believe they were probably gonna do more with the roster and add more characters, but they decided to cut it short and continue on with the next game. Next on the bingo list, we have a vertical roster. What do I mean by vertical roster? I mean up and down, obviously, right? Like MK9 and MK11, they both have vertical rosters. Basically rosters that are shaped like this, right? Or go up and down like this. Next up on the list, a new male ninja. Like I said earlier, who knows if we get a pink ninja? Oh, you know what? You know who I forgot? Chameleon. Chameleon also fits into that all male ninjas category. So if he's in the game and all those other ninjas, then we get to cross out that square on the bingo board. I don't know what I'm gonna do if I get like a bingo. Maybe I'll do like some kind of special challenge. I'm not sure. I might do something, I might not. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Next up on the list, we have two new fighters. In MK11, they introduced Geras, Cetrion, and who else? I think it was just Geras and Cetrion. Two new playable fighters, to be specific. So they have to be on the roster. So it's likely that we'll get new fighters for this game. In MKX, we had a lot of new fighters actually introduced into the franchise. Aaron Black, Devora, Ferrator, Kung Jin, Cassie, Takeda, Jackie. Usually every game they'll introduce new characters, except for MK9, which is fair because it's MK9, it's supposed to be a remake of MK1, 2, and 3, so it makes sense that they wouldn't add any new characters. But yeah, MK1, who knows? I mean, it's another remake, kind of, so it could just be a retelling of MK1, 2, and 3 with the new characters introduced from X and 11, but I could see them introducing new characters. Next on the list, we have a new Elder God. In MKX, Shinnok was playable, he's an Elder God. In MK11, we had Cetrion, she's an Elder God, and she was playable. Who knows? This game might not even have Elder Gods in it, because who knows what Fire God Liu Kang thinks about Elder Gods. I mean, they didn't do him very much good in MK9, or MK11 for that matter. Next on the list, we have Baraka. Baraka's a personal favorite character of mine ever since the Dashi Mortal Kombat skits.
Melina! You really gonna do me like that, Melina?
Love those. We already know that Raiden's gonna be in there, so that's pretty cool. While we're on the topic of Raiden, I'm not sure how I really feel about the outfit that they showed in the trailer. It looks kind of boring. I'm hoping that there's customization to where we can change that. But yeah, Baraka's a pretty cool character. Love me some Baraka. I could definitely see him being in MK1 on the roster. Hopefully on the roster. I mean, look at what they did to my boy in MKX. They didn't even put bro on the roster. They made him a variation for Alien. What kind of shit is that, bro? But yeah, enough of that. Next on the list, we have Onaga unlockable. Basically, what this means is if Onaga ends up being the final big boss in MK1, then it's likely that he could be a unlockable character, kind of like how Shinnok was unlockable in MKX, or Quan Chi and Cyber Sub-Zero and Frost in MK9 and 11. They didn't make Chronica playable in MK11, which is fine. I mean, she's sort of overpowered anyway. I don't know how being able to play with her in the game would even work. Imagine Chronica mains on MK11 online. Next on the bingo board, we have 5 plus 3D era characters. 3D era characters would consist of characters from MK4 to MK Armageddon, specifically characters that were introduced into those games. Jarek, Tanya, Fujin, Suhao, Limei, etc. Maybe even the new designs from Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind with Kira, Cobra, and No Face. Imagine No Face being in the game as a playable character. That would actually be kind of fire. No pun intended, because he does use fire in the game Mortal Kombat Special Forces, which I might have a video on at some point. Who knows? But yeah, I'm not sure the likelihood of 3D era characters appearing in this game, but it's possible. Next on the list, we have Geras unlockable, so same applies to Onaga. I could see Geras being the big bad in MK1, considering he's basically immortal, like more immortal than any of the gods. I don't know how immortal Chronica is, like if she was just like super strong but like killable. I don't know if the same applies to Geras, if he's like literally unkillable. But yeah, if he's the big bad of MK1, then I could see him being an unlockable character. Next on the list, we have 10 plus female fighters. There's a lot of talk online about the ratio of male to female fighters in Mortal Kombat. I believe the last game had 9, but yeah, it's possible that we could see 10 plus female fighters in this game, depending on how big the roster is. I feel like if it's any less than 10 to start out with, some Mortal Kombat fans might not be too happy, but it is what it is. Next on the list, we have 15 plus male fighters, so adding on to the 10 plus female fighters, that would be a roster of 15, which would be less than the 26 plus that I had for the first bingo square. It's pretty likely that we'll get 15 plus male fighters on the roster. I mean, we got 16 for MK11, so I believe the 9 female fighters plus the 16 male fighters made up a complete roster of 25 characters for MK11, which is less than 26. I'm really hoping that they have more than 26. Next on the list, we have Havoc. I actually forgot about Havoc in the 3D era characters that I was hoping would return in MK1. Havoc's probably actually my favorite character from the 3D era games. His design is cool, his moves are sick, so it'd be nice to see him in MK1. Next on the list, we have a new female ninja. I'm not sure what color they would use for a new female ninja, maybe brown, I don't know. Speaking of female ninjas, we have Frost next on the bingo board list.
She kind of bad though. Is that Frost?
Frost is probably my favorite female ninja out of the bunch. I'm a Scorpion fan, but something about Frost is really cool to me. No pun intended. What they did with her in MK11 was super interesting, making her like the new Cyber Sub-Zero. Although since she's considered a part of the new generation of fighters that were introduced in MKX, even though she was introduced in MK5, which was sort of the same thing, but not really. I'm not sure if she would return if those other new generation fighters aren't going to return. And and it's taking place before any of them are even born. Next on the list, again relating to the female ninjas, is all female ninjas. Same thing with the all male ninjas. Imagine if they have all the female ninjas on the roster, including Tanya. I know that Ed Boon doesn't like to consider Tanya the yellow female ninja, but I feel like it just makes sense. I mean, she has basically the same design of all the other female ninjas, besides the mask, which really makes them ninjas, and she doesn't wear a mask, but I don't know, it's like my own personal headcanon to consider her like the yellow female ninja. I know that probably having all the female ninjas on the roster would take up a lot of the female ratio of the roster, but like I said, these are sort of just random. If they happen, they happen. I'm not really expecting all the female ninjas or all the male ninjas to return, but if they do, I mean, we got something to cross off on the bingo board. Next up on the bingo board, we have a diamond-shaped roster, similar to MK11's roster. I know that at the end it wasn't really a diamond, but it was more so a diamond than a rectangle, I feel like. I mean, they were really only 5 characters away from completing the square. Rectangle? Yeah, I mean, it would be a rectangle. But I'm talking about like the starting roster. It's possible that we could see another diamond-shaped starting roster. I personally wouldn't prefer a diamond-shaped roster. I think it was a bit weird that they did that in MK11, but it is what it is. Next up on the bingo board, we have Tanya. Like I said earlier, I know that she's not technically a female ninja, but she's another one of the female ninjas that I would like to see return alongside Frost. She's sort of like the Scorpion kind of female ninja, with the yellow and the fire powers, so it'd be cool to see her return. Next on the roster bingo, we have all cyborg ninjas. That would include Sector, Cyrax, Smoke, Sub-Zero, Frost. I guess you could consider her a cyborg ninja, and bonus points for Hydro. I don't know if Hydro is considered canon or not, probably not, but it would be interesting to introduce Hydro in MK1. For those of you who don't know, Hydro is considered like the water cyborg in Mortal Kombat, so kind of like Rain. He was in the Mortal Kombat Legacy show, although I don't think he had water powers in the show, but I could be wrong. And he might have appeared in one of the comics, although again, I'm not sure. Next on the roster, we have no Revenant icons. In MK11, they decided to use their Revenant versions as icons on the roster, which I wasn't a huge fan of. I feel like they should have used the normal versions to represent them better. So that was just sort of a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. So I would prefer no Revenant icons on the roster, which I don't think is gonna happen because so far no one's become a Revenant, and I don't think they would reveal any Revenants being in the game with the roster, specifically the roster icons. So who knows, they might have Revenant skins for the characters. Next on the MK roster bingo, we have horizontal roster. So this would be like how you guys are seeing me on the camera, similar to MKX and MK Deception. Next on the bingo board, we have front-facing icons. Now you're probably like,
G-Boy, Colton, obviously they're gonna have front-facing icons for the icons. I mean, what? Are they gonna show off the characters like that?
no, what I mean by front-facing icons is looking directly at the camera like this, right? Not like this, or like this, or like that. Right, I'm talking about like this, like they're taking a fucking mugshot. So like how they did in MKX. And last but not least, on the bingo board, we have Liu Kang unlockable. Now, say Liu Kang is the big bad boss at the end of the game, right? It's possible. It's definitely possible. I mean, in the trailer, we saw him talking about, if you don't, like peace, then you're gonna mess with me type shit. So he could end up being the big bad guy in the end, but it would be kind of weird for him to be an unlockable character. So again, it's probably not likely, but who knows? I mean, it could happen. Anything is possible. Now, as a little bonus here, I have a mini cameo bingo board. This one doesn't look as nice as the other one, but it is what it is. First up, you guys probably won't be able to see it because it's blocking my webcam, but basically it's all reveal trailer fighters. What this means is all the characters that we saw in the first announcement trailer will be on the cameo roster. So Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden, Kung Lao, Raiden, Melina, Katana, Liu Kang, Shang Tsung, all on the cameo roster. Next on the list, we have a horizontal roster for the cameo roster. Like I said, that's going this way. I don't know how they would do the cameo roster, if like the main roster would disappear after choosing characters or what. For all we know, it could be a square, which if it is a square, that would apply to horizontal and vertical. So if both rosters end up being squares at the start, then I guess we can check off both horizontal and vertical roster. Next on the list, we have all female ninjas on the starting cameo roster. This is probably more likely than the all-female or all-male ninjas on the base roster. Next on the cameo roster bingo, we have Draman. I actually kind of like Draman. I think he was one of the better 3D era characters that I liked, but I think Ed Boon already confirmed that he's probably not going to be on the main roster, so it's more likely that he'll be on the cameo roster. Next on the cameo bingo board, we have 30 plus fighter roster. Now it's more likely that the cameo roster will have more characters than the main roster, because I assume that the cameo roster is gonna have most of the main roster characters plus any like other characters that aren't in there. Now I'm not sure it would have all 25 main roster characters on the cameo roster, but if it does, then this would probably be more likely, because I doubt that they would have like only 5 unique characters on the cameo roster. Next on the cameo bingo, we have all ninjas. This includes female and male ninjas, and as you can see in the bottom left, there's also male ninjas on the bingo board. Again, it's more likely that we'll see all the ninjas appear on the cameo roster. It would be a missed opportunity for them to leave any of them out anywhere on both rosters. Next panel on the bingo board, we have a vertical roster for the cameo roster. Again, up and down. And last on the cameo bingo roster, we have 10 plus 3D era fighters. It's more likely that a lot of the 3D era characters will be on the cameo roster since nobody really likes them. There's some hidden gems in there like Draman, in my personal opinion, you know, Havoc, Tanya, Reiko, etc. But those less notable characters like Dairu, Hotaru, Darius, and Jarek, and Suhao, I doubt Suhao is gonna be on the roster at all. But characters like that I could see being on the cameo roster. But yeah, that concludes my Mortal Kombat 1 roster bingo. All this will be revealed when the game is released on September 19th. Actually before then, because some people are going to get early access a week beforehand. So I'll be revealed on September 14th. And when that happens, we'll revisit this bingo board and we'll see what I got wrong, what I got right. See if we got a bingo. If we do get a bingo, let me know down in the comments down below what I should do if we get a bingo. If you like this video idea, hit that like button. Subscribe if you like Mortal Kombat and you want to check out my other videos. I do a lot of nostalgic videos and Flash games, stuff like that. And I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan and general fighting game fan, even though I'm not very good at fighting games. If you like fighting games, specifically Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, I'll have 2 videos pop up on the screen, one Street Fighter related and one Mortal Kombat related. My newest video where I played Street Fighter 1 and a few videos back when I reacted to the Mortal Kombat 1 announcement trailer, so check those out when they pop up on the screen. That's gonna be it from me. We'll see what happens. I appreciate you guys, and peace. I appreciate you guys, and peace.
Yeah. She back to the bone. Wait, these niggas watching. I swear to God, they be my clones. Yeah, hey, huh? Switching my hoes like my flows. Switching my friends like my clothes. Keep on shooting that.